Hi everybody, Jillian here. Welcome back to my channel. I have a new heritage layout to share with you guys. This week and the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be showing you how I'm incorporating documents that I've acquired online, either from Ancestry.com or newspapers.com, into my heritage album. You may remember this layout that I made a few months ago. I had polled you guys and asked, what you thought about including not so great information in these kinds of albums, and the unanimous response was to include it. Not to would be to rewrite history, and I certainly didn't want to do that. So that's what I'm doing. Originally, when I created this layout, I had 3 photos, and the one I pulled aside was the photo of the patriarch of this family. At that time, I thought it was the only photo that I had of him, and I wanted to create his own layout just to kind of tell his story separately. So that's what I'm doing today. Here's a look at the inspiration layout. I pinned this from the Studio Calico member gallery, and I'm going to include that link below since I can't remember who exactly created it. Also, I'm showing you a look at the supplies I'm going to be using. I'm scrapbooking this 2x3 photo of Joseph as well as his draft card from 1942. Now, I printed this from Ancestry.com. I found it, among the documents that they had linked to his name, and I just printed it on computer paper, so I will show you how I'm going to include that in a minute. I have some My Mind's Eye stamps, freckled fawn enamel dots, some of those pink paisley memorandum labels that I can't get enough of. I have some thickers that I just picked up from Tuesday Morning, and a few cardstock sticker sheets from random collections. These are the papers that I'm going to be using, all except for that vellum on the right from Dear Lizzie's documentary collection. I wanted to keep this layout neutral and kind of dark. So you can see that the copy of the draft card I have is kind of flimsy, so I'm going to go ahead and back it with some scrap cardstock that I have. And then it was a scanned image, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it down to the original size. So it's about a 4x6, I would say. So this pattern paper that I'm using here, I'm trimming 3 inches off of it, and so I want to keep the text in the middle. You can see there's kind of a margin on the right and left of the page. So I went ahead and trimmed 1.5 inches off from each side. This paper is from the Kelly Perkimonomy collection from Basic Gray, and I made a mistake when I cut it. I didn't mean to make it a 3-inch strip. So there I'm just referencing the back to see which cards I want to salvage. And I ended up being able to salvage the 2 that I wanted, but I didn't cut this strip of paper to the right size. So you win some, you lose some. Next, I'm going to figure out the placement of the photo and the draft card on the layout. And I thought I wanted to use this piece of vellum from the Dear Lizzie documentary collection. I wanted to bring some gold into it, but I didn't have a long enough piece to use across the top. And I didn't want to use the portion of it that was like that aqua color. I wanted to use the clear part. So I set that aside, and I'll bring in some gold elsewhere. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get my labels down so I can see which ones I want to use, how many are going to make it on there, and how many spots I have for my journaling. So instead of using the vellum, I'm going to use this border sticker also from the documentary collection. It's black and white stripes, and it has a little bit of gold on it, and I'm going to use that to cover the join of these 2 papers. In the end, you really can't see much when all of the elements are layered on top of it, but I know it's there. So next, I'm going to mat the card using this paper. It's from the original Chamel collection. It's just a simple black and white diagonal stripe. And I find that I have a really hard time determining if things are straight when I use diagonal stripes. So this thing could be a crooked mess, and I would have no idea because it plays such tricks on me. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get my title down. I picked up these thickers from Tuesday Morning. I don't know the name of the font off the top of my head. I have it listed in the description below, but I thought that they would be just a great addition to my stash, specifically for these heritage layouts. It kind of looks like a vintage font, and I thought it just worked really well with this layout, so I was pleased with that purchase. So next I'm going to use these My Mind's Eye stamps. I got them a really long time ago at Joann's, and it says it's from their Chalk Studio collection. And I don't use them often, but I thought that this little man pointing his finger would be a good addition to this page. So I'm just kind of figuring out how I want everything to lay on the layout, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my journaling done. So what I did was I just went through his profile, Joseph's profile on Ancestry.com, and I picked a few things to note in those labels. And then in the meantime, I went ahead and took some tile stickers. They're from Crepe Paper's Journey collection from the sticker sheet, and I pulled 1905 so I could reference the date on this layout. I like to do that on each layout so you can see at a glance about when the photo was taken, and I had estimated previously that it was probably 1905. So what I did was I stamped this hand stamp onto just a tag that I had. It was not a stark white, and I liked kind of how it married the background text paper and the white from the labels and the draft card. So I stamped it on there and fussy cut it, and then used some foam dots to adhere it to the page just to give it a little dimension. So next what I'm doing is taking off all of the stickers that kind of appeal to me for this layout that I think I might use. I just started doing this, and it's worked out well. I just take everything off and put it on some wax paper, and then I keep that on my desk instead of, all of the sticker sheets, so that I can, choose what to use a little more easily. I thought about using that banner from the Shine collection, but color-wise it worked, but design-wise it did not. So next, I'm just going to use these gold stars from the documentary sticker sheet and put them in 3 places on the layout. So I'm realizing now that I need some more gold to go up at the top above the photo. So I pulled off that gold and cream banner from the Shine sticker sheet, and I'm going to layer that underneath the 1905 number stickers just above the photo, just so I can bring some gold in elsewhere. So while I'm doing that, I'll talk to you a little bit about the journaling. It's really weird to boil someone's life down into these 5 little labels, and I can always go back and change them. I mean, I have enough, but the things that I noted were who his parents were, when he was born, where he was born. I noted who he married and who his child was. Unfortunately, he did not stay with that family. He ended up leaving them and remarried, so I documented that. In the early 1900s, I imagine that this was not the norm, and so I think it kind of was a little taboo for their family. What I'm doing here is just taking some of these freckled fawn enamel dots and then kind of clustering them around on the page. I noted what he did for a living. I gleaned from some old census information that he worked as an upholsterer for a department store, and then I also noted where and when he died. So like I said, it's a little weird to boil someone's existence down to like these 5 statements, and I may go back and change them if I learn something different, but that's what I included. The draft card also has some additional information on there too, and I really encourage you guys to research your ancestors and see what you can find that you wouldn't have otherwise known. Here's a look at my finished page and a few close-ups. So be sure to tune in next week for my next video, and I'm going to use a newspaper clipping with a photo from the mid-1800s. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.